This is News Channel 20 at 5.
It turned out to be another scorcher today across central Illinois. Coming up, I'll let you know just how long this hot spell plans to stick around.
Plus, as the temperatures heat up, so does the inside of your car, the potential danger it can have on your family. And it's been an emotional day in Orlando 1 year after the Pulse nightclub shooting, how the community is paying respects to the victims. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stacy Skrzak. John is off tonight. First at 5, the heat wave here in central Illinois. Temperatures in the 90s again today, and it won't be going anywhere in the coming days. Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke joins us now to let us know when we might see some relief. Cheryl?
Well, Stacy, we definitely had some blazing heat that was really baking central Illinois this past weekend, and all that hot weather from this past weekend has now carried over into the new week. Highs today easily topped out in the low to mid 90s. We were a solid 10 degrees above the seasonal averages. If you are making plans to be stepping out for this evening, again, brace yourselves for some very warm, very muggy conditions. Temperatures will be very slow to cool off for tonight. Still about 90 degrees or so around 7 o'clock this evening, and then still holding in the 80s even through 9, 10, and 11 o'clock for tonight. So again, a sizzling, hot, steamy evening. And we've got more heat too gearing up this week, perhaps even some record highs being smashed. I'll let you know just how high those temperatures will climb and how long this hot spell plans to stick around. Your complete storm team forecast is coming up in just a few minutes.
So far this year, 11 children in the U.S. have been killed after being left inside a hot car. That's according to NoHeatstroke.org. News Channel 20's Jacqueline Driscoll joins us now with more on the potential dangers during this heat wave. Jacqueline?
Stacey, as Cheryl just mentioned, the temperatures outside right now are at about 94 degrees, but remember, inside the vehicle can be much worse. Now, we actually put a thermometer inside the car just about 30 minutes ago, and already the temperature is at 122 degrees inside the vehicle. Now, as I mentioned, the temperature inside a vehicle can get extremely hot, extremely fast, even on average days, so it can rise even quicker on very warm days. Now, the body temperature of a child can rise 3 to 5 times faster than adults, reaching an internal temperature of 107 degrees can be fatal.
Most people either one run in with the intentions they're not going to be in there very long and they end up being in there longer than what they had planned on, or the other aspect is I totally forgot that the child was in the back seat. They fell asleep on the drive over.
It's something SPD wants to remind the public to be aware of and to stay vigilant. Now, SPD also wants to remind everyone to lock up their cars when they're at home so children don't accidentally get inside and lock themselves in. For more tips, tune in for the full report. That's tonight on News Channel 20 at 6. For now, live in Springfield, I'm Jacqueline Driscoll. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Thank you. Some great advice on a very serious topic there. You can count on News Channel 20 to have the latest weather forecast. Find them anytime online. We're going to have updates on our website, newschannel20.com. You can also like us on Facebook and, of course, follow us on Twitter. Now to Crime Watch. A Champaign officer-involved shooting is being investigated by Illinois State Police. The shooting happened around 10:30 Sunday night when a suspect tried to flee during a traffic stop in the 400 block of East Washington. The 22-year-old male driver crashed into a house in the 400 block of East Church Street. The suspect fled on foot as an officer pursued him. He was shot by the officer in the shoulder. The suspect was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. National news. It's an emotional day in Orlando where the community is honoring the 49 people who lost their lives in the Pulse nightclub massacre. 1 year ago, a gunman opened fire inside, took hostages, leading to a 3-hour standoff with police. ABC's Janae Norman is in Orlando where the healing continues.
1 year later. It's been a year, so it's rightfully time to celebrate their passing.
The scene outside Pulse nightclub is starkly different June 12th, 2017 than it was 1 year before. The same morning, investigators say a shooter walked into the packed club and opened fire before killing 49 and hurting so many more.
I miss Pulse. I miss everything it stood for.
But those scenes of chaos, heartache, and tragedy giving way to bright colors, rainbows, and a celebration of the 49 souls who lost their lives on that unimaginable night.
We are here to remember the innocent lives that were lost. We're here to honor them, along with their families and their loved ones. And we're here to salute the survivors.
And for the survivors, victims' families, and the community, it's been a year of healing.
It helps with the healing process to know that it's something that is not forgotten and hopefully won't ever be forgotten.
The 365 days since that tragic night that changed the city of Orlando forever, offering a silver lining, an outpouring of love after an act of so much hate.
It's remarkable to think that after this horrible tragedy, this is the time when people all come together to show their true colors.
The events continue throughout the day, including another remembrance ceremony here right outside Pulse nightclub later this evening. And one thing that's been a constant at these events is the reading of the 49 victims' names, showing that they are the focus, remembering and honoring those 49 people whose lives were cut short. Janae Norman, ABC News, Orlando.
A Springfield church honored the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting this afternoon. The bell at the First Presbyterian Church tolled 49 times in memory of those killed. Church officials say it's important to remember what happened in Orlando 1 year ago.
We want to remember the victims and we want to remember what happened, but also just remember how the community came together at that time, how Orlando pulled together. It's very inspiring.
Church officials say the bell is a reminder that love always wins over hate. Now to the state of Illinois. The budget battle continues tonight. 18 days until a third year without a budget. And still, education is one of the hot button issues. News Channel 20's Rachel Droz is here now to tell us about a controversial new statement made by a Rauner advisor.
Stacey, that statement was made by Governor Rauner's education secretary. Beth Purvis is quoted today in the State Journal Register saying Rauner supports 90% of the approved education funding reform legislation, but he will veto it because it's too generous to Chicago public schools. Chicago is the only district in the state required to fund its own teacher pensions. Bill supporters say this new formula puts Chicago schools on equal footing with the rest of Illinois school districts that already have state-covered teacher pensions. Rauner's administration, however, says taxpayers shouldn't be on the hook for Chicago's skipped pension payments. A spokesperson for the governor says, quote, while SB 1 reflects elements of the agreed-upon framework, components inserted into this bill will result in the diversion of millions of dollars away from other deserving districts to the Chicago public schools. Democratic Senator Andy Benar says, quote, most rational people would be able to accept winning 90% of any argument and move on. This is why we have complete and utter chaos and gridlock in Illinois. The proposed funding formula would direct new funds to districts based on need. No district would receive less than it currently does. Stacey?
Thank you, Rachel, for that report. Political news, new legal trouble for President Trump tonight. The attorney generals for Maryland and Washington, D.C. have filed a lawsuit alleging that Trump's business entanglements as president have undermined public trust and violate the Constitution. They alleged foreign governments are spending money at Trump's hotels and golf courses to, quote, curry favor with the president.
The president's conflicts of interests threaten our democracy. It's that simple.
The president had no comment on this suit or any other legal matter during a meeting with his cabinet this morning. Tomorrow, Attorney General Jeff Sessions will appear before the Senate Intelligence Committee to answer questions about his role in the firing of former FBI Director James Comey and his contacts with Russians during the campaign. Well, coming up next, a monkey on the loose. The bizarre situation at Henson Robinson Zoo over the weekend that led staff on a monkey chase. And later on, empty nest no more. Now parents are seeing their children come home after graduating college. The steps they can do to get to living their own lives. And hopefully you have a pool because we're in the midst of a heat wave. Carol Lemke tells us how long the hot temperatures are going to stick around. That's coming up.